Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Aeons. Welcome to Strange Aeons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Radio.
That's Vanessa over there.
Hello.
That makes me Kelly. Yeah, I know. I actually forgot the name of our podcast for a minute.
I was wondering where that was going. I was like, are we a TV show now? What's happening?
I was like, strange. Is that the name of our podcast? Look, when I can't be bothered to be interested in it, then the listeners have no chance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're really
Okay, see you later.
Bar high there.
Do you guys remember at our live show at Crypticon, one guy asked a question and you gave him a coin?
Yes.
He contacted me and asked if I would be on his podcast.
Oh my God.
Cool.
So this is our last podcast. I'm moving over to his podcast.
Okay.
No. I call the chairs. I'm taking the chairs.
His name is Carlos, and he's got a podcast called CZ Media, and has a bunch of really cool guests on it. He asked me if I'd be on there, and I said, I guess, but I'm looking at your guest list here, and they're all much more interesting than me. And he was like, we'll drink whiskey and have a good talk. I was like, okay, you sold me.
Ding. What is CZ Media cover? Is it just a general media?
All over
thing?
stuff, and it seems like it specializes in Seattle personalities or something like
That's
that.
awesome.
Very cool.
I'll let you know because the first episode I'll listen to will be mine, of course.
That makes sense. Knowing you.
Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of cool people, your friend Micah
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
dropped a couple of coins in the fountain and
Oh, thanks.
asked if I would watch a movie,
Oh.
and I did.
Oh. Well, that's both good things.
Yes.
I have to say, Micah, thank you very much. I'd never even heard of this movie.
Oh,
It is
wow.
bonkers. It is called Starchaser, The Legend of Oren from 1985. And it is an animated film that is so fucking weird.
Oh my God.
It's a massive ripoff of Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
All three movies that were out at that time, so the original trilogy. I kind of dig it a lot. It's not rotoscoped. I believe that's what he said, although it looks like it's rotoscoped. And because of the director's involvement in Ralph Bakshi films, I could see why you'd think it's rotoscoped.
Mm.
But it is a mixture of traditional animation and early CG animation,
Oh.
and then put through a 3D effect,
Oh my God.
which makes it look, pretty cool.
Huh.
It's kind of a heavy metalish type of look, but if I'm being honest, it's better animation than the heavy metal.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Sure. That's.
I think if they had known what to do with this, or let me put it a different way, I think if they had done what I wish they had done with it, I would have liked it a lot more because they play with death early on and human slavery from birth to death
Jesus.
and stuff like that. And I was like, boy, this is kind of a deep subject for a cartoon. They flirt with some sexual situations, including this. It's basically looks like a fuck bot. They call it a fembot.
Oh God.
And they have to access her personality sensors or something, which are located in her butt.
Oh,
of course.
sure.
And I was like, this just needs to be a little sexier
Uh-huh.
and a little more adult. There's bad guy robots who look just like the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, the old school Cylons.
Nice.
There's a Han Solo dude, a Luke Skywalker, including a laser sword,
Yes.
a princess who is the daughter of the evil android that rules the star system. Lots of cool space battles and shit like that. And really what I needed was like some Journey or Sammy Hagar in between the big fights and stuff like that. Instead, we got a bunch of really cheesy synth music. It is available incomplete and in a really good quality on YouTube. So I enjoyed that.
Oh, nice.
I found a couple of cool things about this. I'm not sure if Micah knows. So while I was watching, I was like, this is framed very strangely. In fact, I thought this had to be kind of a a screw up or something for the YouTube thing because characters will be talking and the tops of their heads are cut off
Oh,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I did a little research, and it says much of this movie was animated with a 1.85 to 1 frame in mind, but the 2-perf single strip 3D projection system requires a 2.35 to 1 ratio.
Oh,
As a
jeez.
result, many shots appear framed unusually tight, and in some cases, characters' heads are partially cut off.
Oh, snap.
So,
I could see that.
and then finally, the director, Stephen Hahn, was a production manager on Wizards, Lord of the Rings, American Pop, just a billion other animated
The
movies.
Wow.
70s Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Wow.
And so he's a Ralph Bakshi guy. He's managed literally 43 cartoon series, including 193 episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 120 episodes of The Real Ghostbusters, and 128 episodes of Thundercats. This movie,
Uh-huh.
Starchaser, The Legend of Oren, animated film in 1985, had a budget of $15 million.
Oh my God.
Holy crap and
and a
holy.
box office of $3 million.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder
I'm
he didn't
shocked
do
it
another.
Got 3. I mean, where was this playing?
Well, I had never even heard of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So, I don't know. I got to say, Micah, good call on this. I really enjoyed it, and I will tell other people to watch it.
You know, I'm really surprised. So Micah is my friend, and he is making you guys watch all these movies, and he never asks me to watch anything. And I just realized right now why that is. I already watch all the weird crap he sends me, so he doesn't have to do anything for that. So welcome to my hell.
Well, if his recommendations are as interesting sounding as what Kelly was just describing, lucky for you.
They are. I've seen some weird shit. Anytime I come up with a film you guys haven't seen, it's probably because Micah introduced me to it. So
Wait, was it Micah that asked us to watch that crazy Jesus versus the devil Mexican?
oh, I have no idea.
Wow, yeah.
That was
a while ago.
Maybe.
Because that one was pretty fucking weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He's like a big Jello person. So
Okay.
don't give me that look. I kind of know what I mean.
He's animated weirdness.
Mhm.
Mexican devil things. He loves Giallo.
Well, because he went through like a whole binge of things within that range, and then it became Spanish, and then it like rippled out.
Sure.
So in my brain, it made sense.
That's good.
Anyway, so things that I got to check out this week included I saw Kate the other day.
Oh, I have seen that as well.
I have too.
you?
Well, you know, I had to see it.
I mean, I'm so glad you saw it because I was just like, if you don't see this movie, this was like made for you.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
Yeah.
hot ass kicking chick, you know, stuff like that. All the stuff I like. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was super fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
I assumed you were going to hate it.
Really? No, I thought, I really liked it. I think the girl was a little bit too much of an asshole sometimes because she was really creeping on that like irritating kid vibe for a while. But overall, yeah, fun, crazy, adrenaline driven movie. And she's a
Netflix,
great
right?
actress. So
Yeah, Netflix. I would say
think so.
this, about a half an hour too long. And
yeah,
the twist
right.
that they acted like we were supposed to be surprised with. I mean, we
No.
all knew that right from the start, right?
Yeah.
You actually mentioned that there's a twist in there you see coming for a long time. I didn't even see anything I thought was a twist. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious, apparently.
Yeah.
I would say the one bummer I had about it is that the fight scenes are so good until you get to the final boss. And because Woody Harrelson is not talented in any way, shape, or form in fighting, they just kind of don't bother. And so you get there and you're like, oh, I guess that other fight that we saw with the rooms where they're drinking tea and stuff and she's stabbing people through walls, like that's probably the height. And then it just is nothing.
Yeah, I could have gone with more of a wizard style ending for a thing, where it builds up and is real simple, but is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm a little light on what I watched this week because, from I believe, the first time in my adult life that I can remember, I spent the night in the hospital.
That's
Oh,
right.
Eric.
I have, those of you who known me for a while know that I've had cellulitis a few times. It's an infection. I just get it as part of some other shit. No, I don't have diabetes. No, I don't have a whole bunch of other shit. So that's nice.
Sure.
But on Wednesday, I went from, I'm a little warm to 104 degree temperature.
That's so crazy.
And my wife filled me in on some stuff that happened because I vaguely remember having dinner and then I thought we were going to urgent care. My wife and I, no, we kind of had dinner. And about 3 hours later, we went to urgent care.
Oh, wow.
And then urgent care sent me to the emergency room because they didn't have the testing things. And I'm short on detail, so you're going to miss a lot of what might have happened. If Dina was here, she could give you a full explanation of everything. But yeah, I went in there and they tested me for stuff, and turned out I'd actually gone septic already. So I had sepsis.
Oh, no.
So they kept me overnight, loaded me up on antibodies, and put me in the most uncomfortable frigging hospital bed you can imagine. Like, it's 2:30 in the morning by the time I hit the bed. I'm like, and I can't fall asleep because the pillows and everything were so uncomfortable. And then I finally fall asleep. And certain times later, I don't know what it was, nurse comes in and gives me a shot in the stomach. Like, ow!
Jesus.
Like, Lord.
Did she sneak up on you while you were asleep?
No,
and go,
yes, while I was asleep, but she woke me up. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
they're nice.
Oh,
Loaded me up. But so because I love the Strange Young listeners so much, went home the next day because it was Wednesday because I hadn't finished editing the thing.
Oh my God.
So I got out of the hospital about 4, came home, edited because I love you people.
Oh my God.
That's
What's wrong
fucking
with
dedication.
you?
That's right.
That's unnecessary. Okay, we like you listeners a lot, but not for that. Not to that level.
And then, I fell asleep.
Good.
Posted everything and fell asleep. But so yeah, Dina was stressed out and freaked out, and I was relatively unconscious of everything that happened. But
oh my God.
Yeah, so that was pretty heavy. So if I sound weird or drag at some point today, because I'm still sort of, usually it takes a few days to a week.
Yeah. You do look kind of pale now that you say it. Oh my God.
Did they give you any kind of, is there anything that you can do to prevent this from happening in the future?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. No, it's attached to another thing I've told you about, the lymphedema thing.
Right. Okay.
And the treatment for lymphedema, I think, accelerated it because I'm not supposed to do the lymphedema stuff when I have it. And so that's why I went from 0 to 104 like that. Because when I get the fever for this, I know exactly what's coming because I've had it enough time that the fever hits a very particular way. I know exactly what's coming. But then it just went, whoom.
Have you thought about amputating both legs?
No, not yet.
I consider that.
Not
also
yet.
a great way to lose weight.
That's true. There you go.
That's so upsetting.
So, I'm a little light on movies, but I got something to talk about anyways.
Well, that's good, I guess. I mean, if you can remember it, if you remember what you watched, that's a big plus.
Well, The Visit, I'll give it 2 stars, not recommended.
The Visit, the film, or The Visit to the Hospital?
Both.
Okay. Ouch. Damn.
Well, tell me about Candyman.
I thought you wanted to talk about it.
Well, I do want to talk about it. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
Vanessa, you saw Candyman in the theater.
Yes.
And as I recall, you didn't like it very much.
Correct.
I just saw it earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw it last night.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys. Wow.
And it was fine. I didn't necessarily dislike it, but I didn't get a lot out of it. I kind of had the same reaction to the original Candyman. It was Tony Todd made the original Candyman so much better, and the way the look of this film elevated it a lot. It looked really cool. There are some neat elements visually.
Mm-hmm.
I was really stunned at how unviolent the violence was.
Mm-hmm.
When the girls are doing there's 4 or 5 girls or something in front of the mirrors.
In
and
the
it's like,
bathroom.
well, here's where they deliver on that R rating. Like, Not really.
I loved it.
Oh my God.
There we go.
I
Okay.
didn't think I was going to love it. It was a little too heavy-handed in its message,
Mhm.
and that generally turns me off.
Mhm.
But I'm a sucker for movies with paintings that are showing other things
Oh,
and stuff like that.
interesting.
And I thought when we got the reveal of what his paintings were, I thought that was brilliant. I hated the like you had mentioned, the honeycomb thing. That was a
Yeah.
missed opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I think that there was a nice little Tony Todd moment in there, which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was a big
That was
plus.
good.
Yeah.
and the fact that they all tied it back to that first film. Now, I rewatched the first film last year,
Mm.
and I thought it did not hold up at all. I thought it was really quite bad.
Interesting.
So this was one that I was like, oh boy, I want to talk about it on the
Yeah.
podcast, so I
Yeah,
want to see
yeah.
it, and I left there going, I think I like that movie a lot.
That's great.
I think you benefited from lowered expectations, which can always be
Sure.
a nice thing. I really wish they'd done more with the puppet art or whatever that's called,
Yeah.
shadow art that they did, that they
Yeah.
made that full trailer, just took it all and mushed the trailer out of it,
Yeah.
was really cool. I wanted a little bit more of that.
Mhm.
I am in agreement with you on movies with art. I did like that aspect of it, like Devil's Candy and things
Right,
along
right.
those lines.
Mm.
And I was very happy that they didn't destroy it.
Yeah.
You know, I just hate that when there's really good art in a movie and then they destroy it because artist goes crazy, must destroy own art.
I'll tell you this: when the Universal logo comes up and it's
Mm.
backwards, like you're looking in a mirror,
Mhm.
and then the other logos all showed up backwards, I was starting to get angry, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking hate this. If this is their gimmick,
Right.
then I'm just gonna be like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
But I loved some of the stuff when they're looking through the mirror and the bees were like bouncing against the inside
is
of the
good.
mirror
That
and
was
things
good.
like that. And I
Yeah.
loved what they did with the reflections in every surface, and sometimes his reflection not doing what he was actually doing. I was like, boy, I'm really enjoying this. I thought it was creepy.
I think
Cool.
ultimately the thing I wasn't digging was those missed opportunities at the end of the day. I really wanted him to just straight up be, sorry, spoilers, everybody,
Oh.
just be Candyman. And because he just became more and more passive to the point where he was pretty much doing nothing. He was literally sat in a chair. I was like, dude, you need to like literally be flipping switches on and off. I'm Candyman, I can't control it. And now I'm just a normal guy who's into my hipster art. And like, that's what I wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the weird exclamation point of like, he's the baby. I didn't know why we needed that.
Oh, I see. That's what I liked. I liked that tie
Really?
to the original.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I felt like that was the only way they could tie it to the original because that's the only person who would have been the right age. So I was like, oh, all right.
I think part of the weirdness for me was as soon as the movie started, I'm like, oh, well, that guy's going to be Candyman. And, I'm not saying who, a spoiler, but anyways. And, that was the whole movie was him doing that. I thought that was going to be inciting incident.
Yeah.
Here's our hero. Now he's Candyman and he's going to go the rest of the movie.
Mhm.
So when that didn't happen and it turned into more of the history, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is going to be, what? So that was part of what hit me weird because I felt by the end that we were supposed to be surprised he became Candyman, which I'm like, is that what you meant with the writing? Or so it just was, the through line was disjointed.
Mm.
I thought it was good enough that if they do a sequel, I do want to see what they do with the sequel when he is Candyman the whole time.
Mhm.
I hope they don't
But-
do a sequel.
It's doing
As
well
we
enough.
saw with the first one, and then it's 2 sequels. It's just bad news.
There were sequels to the first one.
I was gonna say there was-
somehow.
I was going to say there was 2 sequels. I knew there was a second one. I didn't realize there was a third.
I was also, I think this could have used, remind me who produced this?
Peel?
Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Mhm.
I feel like it could have used his hand a little more, or
Like in the
or a little
story.
less. I don't know how much he had to do with the script.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. I equally was like feeling that. Like I either wanted to see more his style and his input, or maybe he was somehow confusing them by walking into the room and giving
Right.
them tips that they didn't know what to do with. But
Mhm.
random question, you guys.
Sure.
Who do you think did that silhouette art? Did you pick up on anything in there in that movie?
You mean a character in the movie or the
Mhm.
artist? Oh,
Character
Oh,
in
I
the
just
movie.
assumed it was the
Uh,
kid at the beginning who was the guy in the laundromat he was talking to.
yeah.
I think maybe
Has
I'm
to be,
crazy.
because that's the kid who was
He
doing
was
the
playing with
shadow art.
I think, oh God, okay, maybe you're right. I thought it was the girlfriend because they keep talking about how she was a cool artist and her brother was like, you used to make those really cool puppets and like, and they have these little notes. And I was like, oh, she's like told his story afterwards through these silhouettes, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, well, see.
That would be better. I mean, that'd be kind of cool if she did go forth and tell his story that way. That'd be kind of neat.
No,
I guess. I don't
But-
think it's important enough to worry about.
It's
I thought it
not,
was
but
a
I
good-
was excited about it.
Okay, well, all right. You think
So-
you're so fucking smart, Vanessa. Why don't you tell us what else you watched?
Good question. I watched a couple of different things, but I don't know, I might be stealing one from
Feel
Eric's
free. I've got more
bucket.
too.
Okay. I saw Malignant
There we go.
in the theater. As I do.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Mm.
That's how I roll.
Well, let's hear what you said about it.
Oh God. Do you want to know? Because I feel
I saw a post about it and it was vague
know.
enough. I'm going, I can't tell if she really loved it or really hated it.
I'm so confused. So, okay. James Wan is not a moron. He's made movies. But this movie, for anyone, it is not the trailer. It's not the movie you think you're going to see from the trailer. I watched the trailer and I was pissed initially because I was like, I already know what this movie is. It's literally called Malignant. There's a chick. There's a guy who's like harassing her. It has long hair. It's her height. We just can't see its face. I know what this movie is. And I was really frustrated because I was like, I know the whole movie from the dumb trailer.
Sure.
And then the movie had the movie, and the movie, the only way I can describe it is Basket Case meets Lifetime original movie. It keeps playing with these tropes of like CSI Miami TV show moments and Lifetime original. There's a meet cute in this goddamn fucking movie. There's a bad meet cute. Everybody acts like they're in a bad TV show and a bad scene there's like somebody who's basically playing a very stereotypical black female cop partner in it, like so stereotypical to the point where you're like, is this Wanda Sykes? Nope, but they want to be. Like it's crazy, but it feels intentional. So I mean, there's even a moment where somebody's like, I'm adopted. Like it never ends with but the special effects are amazing. And the camera work, I think the special effects are really good. The camera work is really good. The movement of the creature is really fun. The last third is insanely active and really fast paced. Yeah. But then you get every drama scene is shot in a fucking cowboy and like bad, and no one knows how to act in it. And you're like, well, is it two directors or are you just fucking with me? And I think he's fucking with me, and I don't know why. I want to know what it is. Why are you fucking with me?
When the movie started, I thought at some point somebody was going to yell cut.
Yes.
And a director was going to walk into the scene because I thought it was a bad movie being shot in the movie.
That's how it's played. That is 100. Like I thought that I was convinced for a while that she was just crazy and watching the TV and imagining all this. Yeah. And that we were going to reveal that she's just picking up on TV episodes and inserting herself. It's so weird. What do you think, guys?
Well, I only gave it about 10 minutes because the acting was so bad. But yes, we had talked about this. James Wan is a accomplished director.
Yeah.
I don't love everything he's done, but I do like quite a bit of his stuff. Mm-hmm. I would say that this sounds like the type of movie you get to make after you've made a studio a bunch of money and they just go, what do you want to do now?
$40 million was
I was
the
gonna say
budget
it's
for
a
this film.
fucking success.
Wow. It was a $40 million film.
40 mil.
Does
That
not,
they spent on it?
does
Yeah.
not look like it.
That was the budget. There's the biggest problem I had with it. I knew nothing about it. I didn't see a trailer. I knew it was James Wan, so I don't care. I'm
I
going to
haven't
watch
seen
it.
the trailer still.
So I'm just going to watch it. And I watched it, and the first thing I read after seeing is, it's Giallo influenced. I said, bullshit, it's Giallo influenced. If it's influenced by anything, it's Larry Cohen influence.
Yeah.
It's 70s weird, 80s weird,
I
maybe
didn't
even
get
a little
any
bit of
Giallo.
90s weird. The only Giallo I could think of was there's some really inventive shots. But the
That's
problem
just
to
James
me,
Wan.
the problem to me in my head is like when I think of inventive shots for Giallo, which there are lots of, they're real camera moves, they're camera tricks. This was just CGI created interesting shots, which to me are far less interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
100%.
Like the shot above the house where they see the different things. Oh, that's kind of neat, but it looks like a model he's flying over as opposed to, and I mean a CG model, not a cool miniature model. And I think of like Argento, I think it's in Tenebrae, where he goes up the side of the building and you see each level of the apartment until they get to the scene at the top. And I was like, now that's an amazing shot. There's so many tropes in Giallo, and none of them are in this movie.
Right? No one's wearing gloves, are they?
There's no gloves. The killer is a mystery, but he's not. He's more like a slasher 80s mystery as opposed to a Giallo mystery.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody really working the case the same way a Giallo does. Because the detectives in Giallo movies are almost always messed up.
Yeah.
There's problems with them. They're really weird characters that have lots of trouble, even if they're not involved with the killing, which they often might be.
Yeah.
There's just so much that's not Giallo. But if somebody was to say, oh man, yeah, this is Larry Cohen, this is Basket Case, this is influenced by that weird 42nd Street mentality, I'd go, I could see that.
Yeah, like, and trying to get it, because a lot of Cohen stuff doesn't have great actors because they're, just whoever they're grabbing. And so I can see him being like, okay, I really want to get this feel, so don't act good. And the kids, by the way, did not get the memo because the kids are the best actors in the whole goddamn thing. You're like, oh no, pull it back. You're supposed to be bad. But yeah, I totally agree. I've been hearing a lot of people comparing it to Giallo pieces, and I cannot for the life of me see it in there. But if anyone's ever seen the Lifetime original movie with Will Ferrell and Kristen
Wiig?
Yeah, yes. And it's called Deadly Adoption. That is the exact feeling that I got from this, where it's like you're seeing something too professional in something too awful meeting and making some weird monstrosity cake in between.
Yeah, the talk has been so up and down about it. I want to watch it again sometime, but I'm going to watch it like 6-7 months from now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to watch it anytime soon, just to see. With the concept in my head, it's like, oh, this is like a Larry Cohen takeoff.
Yeah,
and see how it hits me then. But first viewing, I'm like, man, this. And another thing that hit me that I thought was really bad is, like I said, Juan has done some movies that have scare the crap out of you moments, just really, really good ones. The scares in this movie are so on beat.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this misdirection. I don't remember what movie we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, but where they did the misdirection so well, where it's like 2, 3, 4 beats down the road where you thought the scare was coming, then it comes. This is like, oh, scare. There it is.
Yep.
Beat. It's like, he's just hitting them.
Everything is being hit. The amount of he used so much fog. I think he must have spent $40 million on fog effects.
Wait a second. You love fog.
I do, but I could see at the top of the screen where they stopped using it because there was a little patch of clear sky. I was like, they just fucking threw fog at this. And they were like, yeah, we got the foggy outside exterior shot. And then the girl's going to drive up to the cliff, all the way up to the cliff, and then go into the mental hospital.
Oh, that was weird.
I know.
Like nobody drives up to a cliff.
Nobody parks.
And then gets out of the car. La, 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 la.
I'm going to have a little adventure. Don't mind me. I've parked my car basically off the front of a cliff.
See, I hear all of this, and all I can think is he's got to be doing that on purpose.
I know. That's 100% what I think. There's no one who's that stupid. There's no one. I mean, no one
Well,
who's made the movies that he's
there you
made
go.
could be blind to what's happening in here.
Which is why I think on a rewatch with this in my mind, I think I'd enjoy it a lot.
Right.
Although I will give apologies out to, we have a few like friends of the show or people I've worked with at Crypticon that are tour guides for the Underground Seattle tour.
Oh, I know.
If you think the stuff in that movie is what the Underground tour looks like, you are going to be greatly, greatly disappointed.
Really disappointed. It's not so much fun. I've done the tour maybe 3-4 times. I've never done the scary tour, just the normal tour, but it's fine. There's nothing thrilling.
No, it's interesting stories, and some of like Kim and Bob do some good storytelling for it that I've seen, but boy, I feel bad for them for the next few
Everyone's gonna be
years
like,
or whatever.
Where's the room with the, I don't know.
With the full vehicles left over and the facade that looks like I'm walking through Tombstone. It's like, not there, people.
Yeah.
Anybody visiting Seattle, if you hear me talk about it, I'll let you know. It ain't there.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's like a cave.
They can't show that stuff because it's not safe to actually go.
You know what?
there
Maybe
you
that's it. That's the perfect line. And the fact it was actually shot in Seattle, I was not expecting that.
Well, parts of it were. Apparently there was
Part-
what was I listening to? Who the hell would have been talking about this? Anyways, but they were talking about the different the different groups that are involved in shooting. And apparently there's like, it's getting more and more where second units are shooting more and more stuff, and there's more second units in movies.
Yeah.
There was actually a Seattle unit.
Yes, I know a
And
bunch of the
they
people in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They shot some stuff, but I don't think Juan was actually
He wasn't
here for
here.
much of that.
I don't know. I could always ask. I'm sure he was here, for a little bit of it, but I'm sure it was literally like, let's check off the mark. Although, I don't know, that police station looked an awful lot like an old car dealership on Cap Hill that got cleared out and was
that's true.
an empty building. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yep. Per usual, if you're not in LA, you're watching a movie going, well, physically that doesn't work. I'd love to drive that fast down First
my
Avenue.
God, can you
Place Market.
imagine? You mean not just bumper to bumper?
You guys are making me want to watch this tonight.
It is honestly so bad it's good.
It could be. That's what I
That's
wish
how I feel.
I wish I'd realized that earlier on.
Me too. I was just trying to puzzle the shit out of this movie the whole way through.
So-
Anyway, that's a lot.
So not that we have much to say about that, but
No.
anything else? I feel like, okay, I'll mention one I watched that was so bad it was good.
Oh.
That none of you are going to expect me to say. I could guarantee you.
Okay.
Oh, okay, subtle hint is I watched it with Dina, so it's not really a horror film.
Police Academy.
The late 80s. No, Audrey watched all of those.
I know.
But it was a late 80s movie. It had Pee Wee Herman in it. It had, what's his name? Stevie Ray Vaughan in it.
Sounds so familiar.
Had both of those people in it. God, and tons of other people. Back to the Beach.
Back to the beach.
Man. Frankie Avalon
Avalon and
and
Annette
Annette
Funicello.
Funicello.
I've
Wow.
never heard of this.
What's her name that went to jail for getting her kid from Full House, for getting her kid into college?
Oh, right.
She was their
ugh.
daughter.
Yeah.
And it's horrible, but it's actually so much fun to watch because it was hilarious.
I've seen it. I saw it back in the day.
Oh, if I was in my teens watching that when it came out, I would not have thought much of that at all. But it was. I'll put it in the. It made me laugh.
That's, you know what?
I'm glad to hear it.
That's what you needed.
That's right.
Especially after coming out of the hospital. Laughter is
That's right.
the best.
And their son was the $2 guy from Better Off Dead.
Yes.
And he's like Ryan Reynolds in Blade 3, just line after line after
Oh my
line.
God.
And they had the great, wonderful garbage version of punks that 80s movies have,
Yeah.
or the beach punks, the surf punks. It's hilariously dumb. It's fun.
Oh my gosh.
How did you watch that?
Just rental, like $3
You paid money
through
for it.
Amazon Prime or something.
Gotta spend more time at the library.
It was well worth $3. I wish I'd paid $2 for it.
Sure.
Well, how about we take a little break, guys? And then when we come back, we can talk about Barbara Crampton movies.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
A scream queen is, it's a very nice moniker that I wear proudly. And I think it's just representative of women who have been in scary horror movies and who have had the opportunity to run away from death and countless perils. It's you, the audience, who picks the people really that they like to watch or they like to go see. Maybe Tippi Hedren is one that specifically comes to mind. Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, everyone's favorite scream queen, is another. You have one here in the UK, Pollyanna Mcintosh. I saw The Woman a few years ago, and I thought she was quite extraordinary, so I would put her in that category. I really like her work. And recently, I think her name is Essie Davis. Was she in The Babadook? Really loved her work. There's so many really wonderful actresses out there. We could talk about this for a long time.
We have returned. Eric, why don't you tell us why we're talking about Barbara Crampton?
We are doing this one because of the amazing Jamie.
Yay!
Awesome.
We love Uncle Jamie.
That's right. A listener, a guy I've known longer, probably actually now longer than anybody else alive. Because I met him in junior high in our little martial arts classes that we were taking.
Oh my God.
So we went to the same school and we're both drama nerds. And of course, there's a different word used in that time that I'll just pass on for now.
Oh my God.
And, but he came up with an idea of we need to do another person that is very good in this group. And as you know, I don't know why I'm saying this like you don't know who we're talking about, and I'm introducing it, but it's Barbara Crampton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Barbara
Wait,
Crampton?
what? I got to go find a movie. Hold on.
A second.
Right.
Old Man Crampton's girl?
Yeah, that's the one. One of the true scream queens and a frequent guest at, well, not frequent, but a several-time guest at Crypticon. A lovely individual. She is so nice. And seems to have completely embraced, because if I was looking through her stuff and there's like this huge gap where she really didn't do much. Mm-hmm. The last few years, she's like, I'm doing everything.
I also saw the huge gap, but I think it was because she did like hundreds of episodes of 145 episodes of Young and the Restless between 87 and 2007. Yeah. So
she was working.
She was doing
not
shit.
In the horror.
It just wasn't working. Yeah. It was a different kind of scream queen.
So what did you end up with there?
Well, I started with, every once in a while I look at things, go, God, I know at the end of the year we're going to be doing our end of the year wrap up. Hey, look, here's one that came out in 2021 that she's in. So I'm talking about 2021's Superhost.
All right, Rebecca. We're going to start off with a friendly introduction, like hi, my name is Rebecca, and I'm a superhost.
Do I look at you or at the camera?
What's up, guys? My name is Teddy.
I'm Claire, and welcome to another episode of Superhost. We are staying in the most gorgeous home up in the mountains.
It's so quiet here. This superhost uses the name Betty Lou 52, has a nearly spotless record.
It's actually Rebecca.
Oh, so you're neither Betty nor Lou. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
You think you come out this far to get away from all those crazy people, but then you get to this house and you realize that the host might be even crazier than those people you left behind.
Well, I don't want to get in the way of your trip. Wouldn't want to get a bad review.
That is the craziest shit I've ever seen. We gotta get more of her.
Okay, roll camera.
Hi, my name is Rebecca.
This is what people want to see.
And I am a super host.
Complete lunatics.
This
woman, Rebecca, she said that she was the host of this place.
We have one final surprise for you that I think you're going to love.
If anyone's out there watching, please help us.
Please stop!
Think of all the hits you'll get. at her. She's harmless.
This is on Shudder. The Rotten Tomato ratings on this one are 84 from critics and 76 from the audience.
Holy shit, I gotta watch this movie.
I would say it's pushing a little high, but it's not far off as long as you know what you're getting into. Let me help you enjoy the movie more. No idea what the budget and the box office are. I could find nothing. Even looking through reviews, I might do a word search, see when they talk about budget. Didn't even come up in a lot of the reviews so I was like, okay, all right. This was directed by Brandon Christensen, who's known for Z, Stillborn, and a bunch of short films. He also wrote it, and he also wrote pretty much everything he directed.
I liked that Z movie. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, he's a solid director. Stars, like 4 people, really. 3 with Sarah Canning, who was part of the Nancy Drew movie or TV series revival on WB. She was in Z. She's in The Vampire Diaries and Supernatural and Paparazzi Princess, the Paris Hilton story. Osric Chow, I believe is how to say his first name. He was in 2012 when he was very young, and The Flash, and Supernatural. He was Kevin Tran, so he's in Supernatural quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Immensely likable actor. He is just immediately likable, which helps this movie a lot. And Kings of Con, which if you have any connection to con life, you should search out and watch this. It's a web series, I think you'd say, where it's about people that go on, or autograph guys who go around and are just at conventions. And they talk about the way they show with the way conventions are and stuff. And it was very fun for me to watch. Grace Gilliam, who's in Z Nation, Scream Queens, The Vampire Diaries, Supernatural, and the Fright Night remake.
This must have been shot up in Vancouver or something.
I'll bet it was.
That's why we've got all these WB guys.
Yep.
Oh, wait, CW.
Sorry. Whatever it is now.
Yeah.
And of course, Barbara Crampton.
Who?
Exactly. I don't know. I couldn't find anything on her. She doesn't seem to have done much of all. Anyways, so this is part of the new crop of films that are starting to show up, which is the film stories of people that make YouTube videos or Instagram videos or are influencers. And a story of 2 of them they run basically an Airbnb review site. And it also may be investigating haunted houses, but they don't talk about that too much. The production company of the movie itself is Super Chill. So it's a super chill production.
Oh my God.
I kind of like that. I wasn't able to find out, but man, when they rolled up to the house that they're reviewing, it looked really familiar. Like I have seen it in something else. And since it's probably Vancouver, I'm sure we have, because it's a big house. And if you can rent a big house like that, other people have as well. Showing up to the house, they arrive, but the code doesn't work. Oh no. Wonder why that might have happened. And then out of nowhere, the owner shows up, who's Gracie, who is a little strange and a little creepy, but kind of fun at this point. And the one thing they capture particularly well is when the cameras are on and they're being their YouTube hosts, they are as obnoxious and annoying as you would expect that to be. And they do a great job of separating. DP did a great job of separating that look of that YouTube video to when they're in the real world. And it's a great separation. It keeps it very easy to know when you're in A or B, which sometimes is a problem for some of these movies I've seen before. And as obnoxious as they are when they're doing their super host, they're both wonderfully likable as regular characters, which helps the movie a whole lot, because this is a slow burn kind of movie almost. I mean, it's not like nothing's going on, but this is not a jump out of your seat horror film. This isn't it's closer to a thriller almost. With a moment or two that are really good, a really wonderful, natural, and obvious scare laugh moment that I just thought was incredibly well done. So, but they're having trouble now because their site's views are down. How are they going to get their site's views up?
What is their? You say they're influencers, but what do they do?
Airbnb reviews.
Okay.
Go to those and stay at them and review them while they're there. So they're trying to figure out how to get those views up and find out while they're looking around that the entire house is wired. There are cameras in every room almost. And through a weird little moment, figure out that she can hear them at all times.
She being the
owner can hear.
And she is the super host, I'm guessing. Okay.
She responds at one point and they're like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
Barbara Crampton spotting. I was afraid she's only going to be one scene in this movie, but she's actually in a couple, so it works just fine. And she's good. She's really good. Her role is a B&B an Airbnb that they visited and gave a terrible review to.
Oh no.
And so she subsequently lost her business.
Oh my gosh.
So she went all the way up to this place that they're staying now to confront them and throw rocks at the house and things. So she is really good in it. I was worried enough that her role was going to be very small that I wrote this moment. Now remember, Beatrice Straight won an Oscar for 5 minutes of network. And Estelle Reiner as a female customer in When Harry Met Sally had one line, and it's the one line everybody says from When Harry Met Sally. And of course, just this last Emmys, I believe, one of the people run for 1 minute and 49 seconds in The Crown. Won an Emmy for.
Wow, you're really trying to sell.
That's right.
She's in this more than 4 minutes.
But then she came back later on and had a major part in the film, so it worked out just fine.
Oh, good.
And because she shows up, yells at him for a little while, leaves. So I was like, oh shit. The owner's reaction is when you suddenly start to realize, whoa, she's a little. I mean, you already know she's a little weird, but she's more like quirky weird and might be a little strange. But here you realize, okay, she might actually be really freaking dangerous. But then they give her an interview on screen, and she is so weird when she's interviewed that the woman suddenly decides we've got to get more of her. She's gold. We got to have her interview more so we can get her more on our channel, and more people are going to watch it because wow. And yeah, I mean, this is not rocket science to figure out what's going to be happening through this film. That the one lady's going to end up being batshit crazy, and they figure out that the house they're staying at isn't hers, and a variety of other fun reveals. I won't talk about the return of Crampton because it's an excellent return, and I really like the way they did that. The part of the film problem is when it gets to the end and it ramps up and it starts to bring the horror on, man, they do some dumb decisions. They do the separation, the couple separates, and little things like that. I'm like, oh, you were doing so well at being just an interesting, fun little thriller with two smart people, and now you made them dumb. So that's a little disappointing. And the movie makes an excellent point of not putting all of your cars and front doors to an automatic button pushing system. Like codes to enter your house and codes to enter your car. There's a good argument against that made for this film. Film's simple enough that that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Although it's enjoyable, Shudder continues to put out stuff that at least is worth watching. It's just a fun one to watch. It's not. I don't know how many people end up in their top list, but there's a reason it's got such high ratings. Because I think the main reason is the 2 leads or the 3 leads are so good. They're well worth watching. So also it's a brand new movie, so I have strange trivia because there's just not a lot of trivia out there about that. The tagline, don't forget to like and survive.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes. So I was desperate, like I said, desperate for things. So here's the world looking up strange things that people do on the internet that there's no way in hell I'd ever take the time to do this. But somebody looked at the date on Teddy's phone, the lead guy's phone, Monday, March 22nd. The closest year to that date occurring is 2023. Now you know.
Second, don't we always have a March 26th? Oh, because it was Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monday, 2023.
Oh no. So this will happen.
That's right. Superhosts are actually a real designation from Airbnb that are the bests of their hosts. The best people, the best hosts of their Airbnb get that status symbol, and they get checked 4 times a year to make sure they still are. So it's not, I thought it was just what they called themselves or what they called the people whose houses they are, but it actually is an Airbnb thing. Superhost was also a character portrayed by TV personality Marty Sullivan, an independent television station, WUAB, Channel 43 in Cleveland, from 1969 to 1989. He wore a baggy suit cape and a red nose like a clown version of Superman to host the station's Saturday afternoon monster movies.
You're really scraping the bottom of that barrel. Like it's echoing.
And finally, one review. Superhost makes for a fun, undemanding watch with 3 committed performances and delicious scenes from Scream Queen Barbara Crampton, Randy Myers from San Jose Mercury News. And like I said, the reviews for it are really strong and he nails it. That's pretty much what it is. If you like the leads, you're going to like this movie. If you don't like them, this movie is not going to work at all.
Yeah, and then so also your lack of information on box office is probably because Shudder picked it up.
Yeah.
At the film market, it never actually went to the theater.
Yeah, I would
we're going to
imagine
start
so.
seeing more and more of that.
Yeah, we're going to end up really having a hard time talking about how they did.
I'm kind of curious if anything's going to come out of like the lawsuits that are going on, like with
Netflix,
the Marvel Black
Widow stuff.
and stuff to see
sure.
if streaming is going to have to start releasing a little bit more information of how they make money. Because there's no way that the people that have a percentage are going to know.
Yeah.
They just don't release that shit. So anyways.
Wow. Not even
Vanessa?
in interior, day, night. So there's a movie that we haven't talked about yet that was probably banned multiple times as saying, that's the only movie you can't talk about. But I've never seen it. So I got excited, and it would have worked for probably at least 10 or 15 previous episodes. And that is the 1986 movie From Beyond.
Every journey begins in the mind. A flight of imagination. A vision of what might lie across the universe. Or within the deepest regions of the subconscious. Dr. Edward Pretorius is about to embark on such a journey.
It's out of control. You've got to turn it off. Something's coming. What the hell is that? I'm going to kiss you. Let it happen, Crawford. Humans are such easy prey.
From the makers of Reanimator, From Beyond.
Nice.
I'm sure you have both seen it 1,000 times.
I've seen it only triple digits.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
1,000.
All right. That makes me feel a little bit better.
I seen it a few, but I do have, I think it's Shout Factory Blu-ray for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Colors.
Yes. I definitely legally acquired a copy and did not know which version. I didn't know that there were multiple versions of this movie. There are. And I definitely saw the rated X movie version, which is the same, the Shout Factory. It's the unrated version.
This is a first time viewing for you.
Absolutely.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear what you think of this movie.
Yeah.
My brain. Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes has this at 78% for critics and 70% for the audience, which I was a little surprised about. That the audience is a little lower. Budget was $4.5 million. Box office, $1.26 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. It scraped back almost about a fourth of its, solid fourth of its budget. So, directed by the great Stuart Gordon, who we have talked about many of his projects on this show. 22 writing, 22 directing credits, including things like Reanimator, From Beyond. And Kelly talked about Dolls and Robot Jocks. I think, Eric, you talked about Pit and the Pendulum.
Yep.
No one's talked about Castle Freak. And he also did Space Truckers, some Masters of Horror. And I always forget this. He wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
That just will never stop being weird to me. Anyway. Written by H.P. Lovecraft. Shockingly, he has 228 IMDb credits.
Wow.
He has 14 under special thanks. The others were for writing. He died in 1937. This movie is based off of his short story, which was 7 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Also written, the adaptation was done by Brian Usna, who's one of the collaborators with Gordon, as well as some of the other people we're going to talk about. And he has written 14 projects, directed 18. He actually, From Beyond was the second thing he ever wrote. He also worked on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Bride of Reanimator, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 and 5. He directed Society, Bride of Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead 3, The Dentist, Dentist 2, Amphibious Creatures of the Deep, and some Tarzan. And then the adaptation and screenplay was done by Dennis Paoli, who wrote, who's 16 writing credits, including Reanimator, From Beyond, Ghoulies 2, Pit and Pendulum, 1993 Body Snatchers, and The Dentist. There's a lot of overlap happening here, unsurprisingly. It stars Jeffrey Combs as Crawford Tillinghast. He's been in 139 things. We have talked about him as well many times before. This was his first role after Reanimator. I have personally worked with him.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Erase that. I have personally,
Hell no.
personally worked with him on kind of motivational growth, Holiday Hell, and very loosely, I worked on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, of which he played Samuel Stearns. But aside from that, some people might know him as Ratchet in Transformers, Rat King, and TMNT. But in the DC universe alone, because I was trying to find interesting credits to talk about, and in the DC universe alone, he does the voice of Lego DC Kite Man and the voice of Kite Man in Batman: The Brave and the Bold. He does the voice of Chief in Doom Patrol, and he plays an office manager in Gotham. He's the Question in Justice League Unlimited, Scarecrow in Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, the video game, and also plays Scarecrow in the new Batman Adventures, and Jimmy Swain in The Flash. So there you go. We all know him. Barbara Crampton, of course, as Dr. Catherine McMichaels. She has 69 credits. She's becoming, I feel like she's more and more prolific now. Like it feels like every year she's putting out more and more films. So in 2021 alone, she did 7 roles, which I think is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I won't go into her history other than to say the 2021 roles, which included Psycho Reanimated, Jacob's Wife, Creepshow, the Pipe Scream segment, King Knight, Superhost, Alone with You, Back 4 Blood, the video game, and Snow Valley. So she seems to do about 3 before this year. She did about 3 to 4 films per year. So she's just freaking cranking them out. Yeah. We have just like another lead, Ted Sorel as Edward Pretorius, who's like kind of the main crazy doctor in this. There's many crazy doctors, but he'd be the main one. He has 27 credits. He started off in Jeremy in 1973, but you might have seen him in Network, Without a Trace. He did a lot of Shakespeare stuff like The Tempest and Antony and Cleopatra. And he also played a lot of doctors, just lots of doctors on TV.
Very doctorly looking.
He is. He just fits right in. There's a lot of doctor names showing up. And last but not least, I wanted to mention Ken Fourie as Bubba Brownlee, who's the cop. I loved him in this movie. He was so much fun to watch. He has 110 credits, including the one I recognized him from, which was Dawn of the Dead. He plays Peter, but he's just been in tons and tons of stuff. You would definitely recognize him. He was also in the 2007 Halloween. And Kenan and Kel. He was in 62 episodes of Kenan and Kel.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's so weird. From Beyond, the plot.
Yes. I wish y'all could have seen her expression when she said that.
Wikipedia defines the plot as. So it.
Never mind. You can now see her expression.
Jeffrey Combs, who's playing Crawford, is assisting Dr. Edward Pretorius on a strange experiment to contact this sort of invisible dimension. I don't know if this is sort of a side effect of what they're doing or the main goal, but essentially they're trying to stimulate the pineal gland, which is part of the brain, so that they both have kind of different goals. So one is to see if it allows you to contact this dimension. The other goal for the other Dr. Pretorius is sex. So he's really into the sex part because it also stimulates sex, and he's not getting out of sex. So he wants to like do 6-dimension sex. So that's him. Crawford discovers that it has worked after lots and lots of attempts, and gets Dr. Edward to come up and check it out. As these little forks on top of this round machine start to vibrate and everything goes pink. Is that just H.P. Lovecraft? Everything always goes pink? Is that?
I think it's just 2 films that really do that.
Yeah, and I don't think that Lovecraft, on both films, he basically called it an indescribable color.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Pink it's a hard one. We all struggle with it. But of course, Crawford starts to see these strange things come through the dimension, like eels and something that we don't see off screen, which comes through and attacks Pretorius's head. So I'm gonna destroy his name several times. I apologize about that. And eats it. And so we break into Jeff Combs in a psycho ward because he obviously murdered this guy and they're just not quite sure how. And he's crazy and everything he's talking about sounds nuts. And Dr. Catherine McMichaels, Barbara Crampton, is interested in their research and wants to get behind what he saw and whether or not it was real. So she is extremely interested in talking to Crawford about the experiment and even wants to get him to recreate it. She believes that whatever it does, it can have a positive effect for schizophrenic patients. He says, "Fuck you, no." I am not going to do it. And she says, "This is the only way that you will be cleared of murder. And otherwise you will sit here and be tortured essentially and drugged and locked up for the rest of your life." And he goes, "Fine, I'll go." So McMichaels is joined by Officer Bubba Brownlee, who's an ex-football player turned cop. He accompanies them back to the estate to kind of keep an eye on Crawford. Upon arrival, Crawford immediately disappears. He just straight up bounces. And while they're trying to figure out where he went, they find Dr. Pretorius's gross sex dungeon. Where it's just like a BDSM room, like to the most extreme. And there's a video, like you hear a woman screaming, you're like, whoa, what is going on? It's just like him having sex with some chick on and having recorded it. So Brownlee's like, this is some weird shit going on in here. They go on and venture up to the attic where, of course, Crawford runs at them with an axe. But is he trying to hurt them? No. This jump scare is not to be because it was very obvious. He is trying to break up the machine, but McMichaels convinces him pretty quickly not to and to go ahead and just turn that sucker on. So he does. And they all start to get crazy headaches and are also really sexually charged and start to see another dimension. Turns out, Dr. Pretorius not so dead. Just in another dimension. He emerges from the shadows in his new form. Everyone's kind of freaking out, and Crawford's like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, dude, don't worry about it. If you're really freaked out, just come on over here and touch me. It's no big deal. So he touches him, and his hand just kind of slips through his shoulder like putty. Really gross. Really exciting. Everything gets a little bit crazy. Crawford manages to turn it off, but now McMichaels is addicted. She wants this machine on all day, every day. She's says it's for research, but it's clearly because she's just obsessed with the feeling that it's giving her. And we end up in a crazy body horror dimension sensation hellscape. The film gets bonkers. There's eyeballs coming out of foreheads. There's people eating brains. That was great. Sucking the eyeball out to get to the brain faster.
That's one of the scenes that was deleted originally. So
Yeah.
Oh.
that's one of the scenes that got it the X rating.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
My God. I also hope that in the R-rated version, they cut out the bit where she's like molesting
They did not cut that part
Jeffrey
out.
Combs. Really? He's unconscious.
It was the only stuff they cut was gory.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't cut out the underwear and the water stuff or anything like that.
It was a
Ken
different
Fourie
time.
going around.
I guess. All right. Well, all right. So this basically, I wish I could tell you what's happening, but it's fucking nuts. It's body horror and sexual horror and horror. There you go. This movie.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's incredible. I can't say that the plot, it doesn't tie up in a way that I think is particularly satisfying, but it ties up enough.
Mm.
I dug it. It's just so fucking crazy. Like the shit they show you is nuts, and it really felt like what I would have wanted another Hellraiser film to give me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it gave me so many of those vibes where it was all mixing like pleasure and pain and like people obsessed with getting to another space to experience something new. I was just like blown away for
That's
sure.
a hell of a take on it that I had never thought of. That's really cool.
Yeah, especially considering it comes out before Hellraiser.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting take.
That's very cool.
The only bummer about this movie, I watched it. I just recently took a trip to Arizona. I decided I would go ahead and watch this on the plane. I had a Malaysian man next to me who did not speak English, and I noticed he was kind of looking over at the screen occasionally. I tried to darken it up so you wouldn't see it real well.
Were you on your laptop?
I was on my
watching it?
laptop.
Oh, jeez.
I was on my laptop, definitely watching this legally. And his eyes got really big and he kept staring at it. And then he was really uncomfortable and he closed his eyes. I don't know if he thought I was watching porn or if I don't know what he thought. And I tried to like move the like notepad that I have on the screen in front of the breasts and like at different times so you wouldn't see it. So that definitely gave it another dimension of like, oh no, like the dude's grabbing her boobs right now. I gotta move this notepad right on top of that. So that was one of the things I didn't like about the movie. The only things that really bugged me, honestly, was the start where they've got Crampton as like, she's totally not a hot chick. Don't worry, we put glasses, an ugly suit, and her hair up. She's definitely not super fucking hot underneath this. It's definitely not going to get like completely distraught and hot and like everything's torn off her later. It's fine. And she just screamed too. They're always, these movies always have ladies running around screaming, and it's really irritating. It like hits a range for me, and I'm like, you shut the F up and you deal with your problems. Stop, you don't scream when there's another dimension eel staring you in the face. You shut up and you be real still, and you just, oh my God. Anyway, it's fine. The version I watched was clearly a remastered version. It was gorgeous. It had great color, great sound, like really, really clear sound. Definitely just a beautiful version of it. Jeffrey Combs was amazing. And he did so much work. I'm so used to him acting with his voice. And he acted so much with his eyes in this movie that I was really impressed. And he let himself get super fugly for the role. So Good work on you. And of course, the guy who played the cop, Ken Fourie, was just such a delight. I think that role could have been really, really stereotyped, and he just rolled it into a really interesting character, and I loved it. So that was mine. Oh, I guess I do have some trivia if you guys care about that.
I'd imagine there's a fair amount for this one.
Yeah, I tried to scope it down so that we didn't have as much to look at. Let's see. Studio executives were actually opposed to casting Barbara Crampton as Dr. McMichaels because they thought that she was too young and too young to be believable as a psychologist. And Gordon insisted that she be cast, and so she was. Of course, Stuart Gordon cast both Combs and Crampton after working with them on Reanimator. He liked working with a company of actors consistently, mostly because he knew that he'd be asking them to do all sorts of odd things, quote unquote, and that they would just adapt quickly and take his direction. He actually had considered making a series of Lovecraft films with the same cast, and he did manage to do Castle Freak, which is the third in his Lovecraft series. He would go on to do 2 more, like Dagon, and one of the episodes of Masters of Horror, Dreams in the Witch House. He brought in a lot of the same crew that he likes to work with, not surprising at all. His then wife played the role of the really irritating Dr. Block in this movie. She is a fucking irritating
She's
character.
the one that gets her eye sucked out, right?
She sure is.
Yep.
She's the one who it becomes evil a bunch for no reason, and she's constantly a dick.
Did you say ex-wife?
Let me scroll through.
Widow.
Oh, sad. But she acts. She's
in
there.
like every one of Stuart Gordon's
Really?
films.
Oh my God. She was really irritating. It was shot in.
Her character was really irritating. Come on.
I'm sorry. Her character, I am so in the wrong on that. Thank you. It was shot in Italy with an Italian crew to save money. Gordon thinks it would have cost him $15 million to do in the US instead of I think he said that by shooting that part in Italy, it was 2.5 on that end. They used a soundstage in Italy called the Dino Cita, which they would also use for the film Dolls.
Yeah.
All of the doctors on screen were advised by real medical workers on how to follow proper procedures so that it was real and to the book. There were 4 special effects teams working on From Beyond, though according to USNA, production ran out of money before the effects on the finale could be finished, which I'm surprised because there is one moment where one of the monsters looks dumb and not good, but then it goes back to looking spectacular. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was waiting to see it and I was like, no, it seems good. There were obviously a lot of cuts made to get this to an R rating. MGM released and restored the unrated cut with extras, adding back in the S&M footage and all the gore. In 2013, Scream Factory released a collector's edition with both versions, and Barbara Crampton sold the leather dominatrix outfit that she wore in this movie at a yard sale.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me in an auction for a certain amount of money.
Nope. She just probably had it in a box that said $2, and somebody was like, oh, that seems good.
That fits.
Yeah. I'd feel uncomfortable bringing that up to the lady at the garage sale going, how much for the dominatrix outfit?
Yeah.
I assume they all live in LA and it's just totally fine.
You're probably right.
Oh, where's your all garage sales have their dominatrix box? Where is yours?
And the resonator sound effects that were used in this film were later sampled for Intergalactic by Beastie Boys.
Oh.
Which is really fucking cool. And last but not least, the one other film would go on to be based on the story, and it is called Banshee Chapter in 2013.
Not really based on this story, but it's got a similar idea. The story, like you said, is 7 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
It is the first 3 minutes of the film.
Oh.
Everything else beyond Pretorius disappearing is added by Stuart Gordon and Dennis Paoli.
Well, they do a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, Lovecraft, not known for his for his sexual situations in his stories.
I haven't read that much, so I wasn't going to
Or
assume.
is women existing at all?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Because I appreciate our listeners, I tried to get something that maybe they hadn't seen.
I hadn't seen it, and that was more important than what our listeners had and had not seen.
There you go. There you go.
I went
Sorry.
so far as to get a movie that nobody's seen.
What?
Now, this is called Kidnapped.
What was your name again? Tom. Right, Tommy. Show me your tool, Tommy.
What?
Show me your tool.
I'm okay. What do you want to know?
I want to know if you qualify, if I need to bring in a stunt car.
There he is.
Oh, he's so cute.
Fuzz, this is Bonnie. She's going to be staying with us for a couple of days. You make one more move, I'll blow your fucking head off.
$1987.
Oh, the year after mine.
I could find no budget or box office information. It has no Rotten Tomatoes ratings. Not enough critics
Did you
have reviewed it.
find this in like a box somewhere?
I
It was
watched
just like
this on YouTube.
beautiful.
Is it complete?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Stars Barbara Crampton.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What a pull for
Had,
for
as you
this
mentioned
episode.
earlier, 145 episodes of Young and the Restless, but you forgot to mention 275 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful, and 37 episodes of Guiding Light, and 83 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Wow, damn girl. She can memorize a fucking piece of dialogue, that's for sure.
It also stars David Naughton. 92 credits, An American Werewolf in London, the Dr. Pepper commercial, and 9 episodes of Making It. I know for sure I'm making it. No more faking it. This time for sure I'm making it.
Did you have a stroke? What's happening right now?
You don't, you're not familiar with the TV show Making It?
I am not.
Making it. It also stars Lance Legault. You would know this guy. He's that guy. 96 credits, stints on literally every single TV show from the 70s and 80s, including multiple episodes of Magnum P.I. as Colonel Buck Green. He was Colonel Decker from the A-Team, and Alamo Joe Rogan on 29 episodes of Werewolf. Also stars Kim Evanson from Porky's Revenge, The Big Bet.
Oh my God.
And she was Miss September 1994, Playboy Playmate.
Did you say the big butt?
The Big Bet.
That. Okay. Sorry.
She
Misheard.
might have been in that too. Who knows?
I like big bets.
And I cannot lie.
It also stars Jimmy J.J. Walker from Bustin' Loose, Concord, Airport 79, and 133 episodes of Good Times. So, this movie, you guys. Oof.
Is that a good hoof or a bad hoof?
You'll find out at the end. It opens with sisters Bonnie and Debbie, who are visiting San Diego on Debbie's 16th birthday. They're bothered by this sleazy pickup artist in the cafe they're at, hitting on them pretty heavily, and Crampton tells him to take a hike. But he follows them to their outing at the zoo. Now, I don't know how many 16-year-olds want to spend their birthday at the zoo. That seems more like a 6-year-old thing to me, but probably kidnapping a 6-year-old is much more distasteful than a 16-year-old. So he follows them to the zoo. And at some point, the younger sister, Debbie, goes to the bathroom where she is kidnapped by the dude and a couple other guys.
This is why you can never go to the bathroom.
Not alone.
Darn right. Not at the zoo.
No.
My God, what were you were asking for it?
By the way,
Zoo bathroom.
the San Diego Zoo is pretty well trafficked.
Sure.
Not in this movie.
Oh, really?
Not one fucking person there except for Bonnie and Debbie and the creepy guys that are going to kidnap her.
Perhaps not the San Diego Zoo.
The most
Right.
well-known zoo in the world.
So Crampton goes to the police, and that's where she meets Naughton, who plays Detective Vince McCarthy.
Nice.
He kind of assigns himself to the case, and they start working together to try and find the kidnappers. It's clear that he has a crush on her, and there's all of this kind of stupid, him being nervous around her and trying to be cool in front of her, and all of this stuff. Then Lance Legault plays this very cliched bad guy. He's obviously a millionaire, has this huge mansion and all of that, boats and all that. And they've brought Debbie to this place where they immediately start giving her heroin. And we find out that the plan is to get her hooked on drugs and into pornos.
Oh, that's not nice.
And not very realistic, I would think. But
I mean, well, isn't that how they get everybody into like being porn in the 80s?
Everybody, but who knows?
Give
Could
them
be a
drugs
stream.
and then they're-
I have no experience to personally offer,
I've
so
seen this,
I'm not
I've
sure.
seen this plot.
okay.
It's a well-tread plot, sir.
Well, I'll say this. This movie is this dark and sleazy kind of plot, but the movie is not dark and sleazy at all because it's 1987 Los Angeles. It's glitzy and brightly lit. And I mean, like white slavery and underage porn, that's some pretty heavy stuff. And this movie does not go there at all.
Oh,
It just happens to be what's going on, and everyone treats it kind of like, I mean, there's moments of humor in this, and just like this movie is ridiculous.
What?
So anyway, Bonnie is then attacked by the bad guys again because she's making too much trouble for them. She went to the cops when they told her not to. They had called her up and said, "We're putting your sister into porn and hooking her up on drugs and everything, and you better
Don't do
shut up or
anything
we'll
about it."
do the same to you." And she goes to the cops, and so now they are after her, and Detective Vince McCarthy rescues her just in time.
Oh, good job.
Just as she's about to be raped and killed.
Oh, but is
So-
she already addicted to drugs by then, though?
No, he rescues Bonnie. Debbie is, meanwhile, we intercut between everything going on with Debbie back at the place getting more and more hooked on heroin as they're getting her ready.
Bummer.
It really is.
I feel bad for her.
Shucky darns.
So after Bonnie is almost raped and killed in her hotel, Vince McCarthy, he says, "Hey, you need to come stay at my place where you'll be safer."
Oh, God.
And he introduces her to his pet chimpanzee.
No. Wait. I don't know how to feel about this. Chimps can be evil or good in movies.
But why is it in this one?
Yeah, exactly.
At all?
What is-
Because it's 80s and chimps.
There's a pet chimpanzee in this, and all of the silliness of a chimp in films. Like he asks it to get him a beer, and
Oh my God.
and it walks around and does stuff and ooh ahs, and
In the same week that Why the Last Man premiered, you're going to tell me chimps. Why are there chimps and things?
Oh, I haven't seen Why the Last Man.
Okay, that's fine.
But continue to interrupt me.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Guaranteed.
So, yeah, at this point, I'm like, what just happened to this movie about white slavery and underage porn and heroin? Because now I'm watching this chimp in a little diaper walking around and doing stuff. It's just like, what the fuck? So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So she and the detective, they go to this porno shop that's run by Jimmy Dynamite Walker and pretend to be interested in making pornos in the hopes of infiltrating the underground porno scene and finding her sister. And he buys this and he sets them up for an audition. They go to Legault's mansion. He's not there, but we know that this is the place where her sister is being held. And they then do this ridiculous audition scene where the
Oh my
director
God.
they're in the middle of shooting a porn of like based on the book of Genesis, and
Beautiful.
and Naughton and Crampton walk in, and the guys, the the director's like, all right, well, let me see him, lady. Excuse me? Let me see your tits. So she unbuttons her shirt and he's like, oh, very natural. He's like, all right, mister, let's see it. He's like, what do you see? What? He goes, I need to know if I'm going to bring a stunt cock in or not. So Naughton walks him over to the side and he kind of, sheepishly unbuttons his pants and the guy looks at it and literally he says, whoa, buddy, what do you feed that thing?
Oh my God, no.
David Naughton's hog is so huge.
Absolutely.
That this guy has to know what he's been feeding it.
I so wish you had seen this movie before Crypticon, so you could have fed this to Steve for his interview.
So the film starts unraveling faster and faster with visits to porno sets and shit like that. And you guys, these pornos are being shot like feature films. They're, they've got
Huge
an
crews.
incredible budget. They've got, a boom mic operator and all of this shit. Have you guys both seen Love Actually?
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember that one of the storylines is Martin Freeman's character, and he's a stand-in for the real porno stars. So they pretend to have sex so they can get the lighting right. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. No amount of time is spent on lighting a porno. It is as bright as possible, and they're not worried about the shadows on the wall or anything like that.
No.
But that's how they are treating these porns in this particular movie. It's like they're trying to simultaneously say, we're willing to do something so illegal that it's got underage porn in it, heroin. We've kidnapped the people who are going to be in these porns, but we got a full crew. We've got all of this shit going on.
Got auditions still going on for the rest of the people.
Yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous. Anyway, all culminates in this big, huge firefight during a porn shoot with SWAT members rappelling from helicopters and Bonnie suddenly super proficient with a handgun while she's trying to rescue Debbie, who's drugged out on smack. And then a super corny final scene that is also a little shocking because it's literally the last scene before the credits roll. And I was like, oh, it's like, wow, they tried to make this really dark in the last 12 seconds of this movie. What a fucking mess. I loved it. I watched it on YouTube and I couldn't be happier.
I'm giddy.
This movie has no trivia, no nothing available on it. It's like nobody else has seen this. But I did find this 1-star review on Amazon that I like.
Oh my God.
Nice.
This guy writes, multiple nude scenes with both Evanson, all while stoned, and Crampton will bring smiles to any heterosexual male teenager. However, any adult with a 3-digit IQ will quickly see how stupid and offensive this movie is. Order your copy today.
That's pretty beautiful.
This movie is just so bonkers in the tone shifts and all of this shit going on, the various rape and then chimpanzee humor
is
following.
Is this like a made-for-TV movie? Because this sounds...
Tons of nudity.
Yeah.
But the tone shift, that's so weird.
I don't know anything about it, how this thing could have been made. I mean, for Naughton, this is only, 6 years after American Werewolf. So he's like, now, shit. My career was going one way and now it's going another way. On the other hand, Barbara Crampton has just come off of From Beyond and Reanimator. So her star is rising.
Yeah.
She's very good in this, except when she's not. And that's the problem of the script, which makes her scream a lot and then be really proficient at other things. And it's just like, well,
yes, I hate it.
it's a problem because you're like, wait a second, I just saw you be a badass. Why are you not being a badass?
That makes no sense. What happens to the monkey in the end? Does he go to the porn sets ever?
No, the monkey does not go to the porn set.
He could have really made a mess of things.
Jesus.
Okay, I didn't want to spoil it. The monkey rappels out of the helicopter carrying a SWAT submachine gun, and he's the one who takes everybody out at the end.
Wouldn't be the first time I've seen it.
And then they do a freeze frame on him smiling big. And
with the gun in one hand and like a thumbs up in the other.
And then they play cheesy 80s music. over it.
Amen.
It's in the way that you use it. Credits roll.
Love it.
Perfect.
Anyway, that's the end of the show. Whose turn is it?
Oh, it's my
Yours.
turn.
It's your turn?
It is my turn.
Oh, all right. Shit, I thought it was my turn.
No,
Nope.
it's my turn.
Okay, what do you got?
So, something that I would just love to talk about, like I've watched a couple of movies recently that's really inspired me. I've been really excited about is kaiju. I would love to talk about giant monsters, creatures running through the streets. In the vein of kaiju, it does not have to be Japanese, but it needs to be a kaiju.
A giant monster movie.
Nice.
I love giant monster movies, so good call on this.
Yes, this will be good. This will be fun.
Yay.
I've got a lot to watch.
What are we saying is, I'm assuming like Pacific Rim or something is
I'd just
out.
say Godzilla's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, yeah, sorry, not the entire
Yes,
run, just the
Damn.
first one. I mean, I don't know. If you have a good enough reason, I could probably be convinced. But
No, I think we can find plenty
I feel,
beyond the
I feel
original.
like there's options.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like that idea. This is where we say thanks to everybody who's playing along at home with
Yes.
the value for value
Thank you.
model. We really, really appreciate that.
Toss out a couple things here real quick. We got Kelly with a movie. I haven't had a movie in a while. 5-star review, people.
Oh,
Give us some 5-star reviews again. Yeah, I know it's weird and cheesy to ask for that, but the way logarithms work anymore, if you don't get a 5, you got a 1. So
Yeah.
please give that the 5 and say something. And if you put a movie in there, I'll try to watch it. And if for some reason you've done one in the last couple of weeks or month or something, I haven't mentioned it, please just nudge me. Send me a DM wherever the hell you want to. And I'll, if I've missed it for some reason. So
cool. And of course, thanks to everyone who's liking and sharing posts, who's hitting like and survive.
Hey-oh. Punch that like button.
That's right.
Smash it.
And I think that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming back in 1 week, and we will be talking kaiju.
Kaiju.
Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Margaret. Our theme music is Strange Aeons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Aeons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.
Did you have a stroke? What's happening right now?